Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's your brother Hezekiah. Back at it with another quick lesson. Has World War III begun? European Union versus the B.R.I.C.S. America in the middle. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's the most high God of Israel and none else. And his only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ. I want to give a mighty shalom, a shout out, and double honors to all the elders from the house of David and all the elders worldwide. I want to give a mighty shalom, a shout out to the brothers pushing this truth, preaching this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to give a mighty shalom, a shout out to the women and children that's praying, fasting, giving alms, keeping the commandments and the faith of the Black Messiah, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. This is a quick lesson going on to the current events that's going on, the current news that's going on. Things that just transpired in the last 24 hours, right? It was talks of peace, but now talks of sudden destruction, right? Just the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second war was past. The second war, World War II, is past. It's gone. Read it on. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. The third woe is World War III. It is coming quickly. Is it now? Is it in a couple months? Is it in a couple years? Are we looking at the signs? It's real soon, sooner than we think. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Joel chapter 3, verses 9 and 10 in NLT. Say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your winklings to be warriors. All right, so this is the article, DD Geopolitics. Macron calls for a tamed Russia and signals readiness for war. French President Emmanuel Macron declared that peace in Europe is only possible with a weakened Russia. You think Russia want to be weakened? Read it on. Calling the country a direct threat to France and the continent. He rejected a ceasefire in Ukraine, insisting that peace cannot come under Russia terms or through Ukraine's surrender. Do you understand what Macron is saying? He also did not rule out sending European troops to Ukraine. So at the end of the day, he don't want Ukraine to surrender to anything. He wants to fight the fight. Read it on. Macron raised the issue of France's nuclear deterrence, emphasizing its role in European security and responding to German calls for extended protection. He stated that any decision on nuclear use will remain with the French president and military command. Other key points. Europe must prepare for reduced U.S. support. Europe's future should not be dictated by Moscow or Washington. France has the most capable military in Europe. Is Macron leading Europe toward direct conflict with Russia? It's a video on here. Let's watch a little bit of it.
The war in Ukraine has led to huge numbers of lives lost.
Slovakia. Slovakia. Bear with me.
The war in Ukraine has led to huge numbers of lives lost. our ally, the United States, has changed its position. And there are doubts about what will happen next. At the same time, even the United States is trying to impose tariffs on goods coming from Europe. And the threat we are witnessing from war and terror is not diminishing. Our peace, our security are more uncertain. We are entering a new era. The war in Ukraine has lasted more than 3 years. And since the first day, we decided to support Ukraine and impose sanctions on Russia. And that was the right choice, because it's not just the people of Ukraine who are fighting for their freedom, it's also our security which is under threat. If a country can invade its neighbor in Europe and go unpunished, then nobody can be sure of anything. It will be the law of might is right, and peace can no longer be guaranteed on our own continent. History has taught us that lesson. And beyond Ukraine, the Russian threat is real. It affects the European countries. It affects us. The conflict as Ukraine has become a global conflict. We're seeing North Korean fighters, Iranian equipment, which is being used to help Russia arm further. President Putin is violating our borders to assassinate opponents, manipulate elections, hack hospital systems. We see lies being disseminated on social media, and our limits are being tested in space, on land, at sea, in the air, and behind our screens.
So those are a few reasons why, France, Poland, United Kingdom, you understand, the Baltic nations, right? And a couple other European countries and Turkey, right? This is the reasons why they don't want Russia to have any type of power or influence over Ukraine. They don't want no peace agreements. They're not too sure about the security that they will receive or be granted or will have if U.S. makes a deal with Russia for the sake of Ukraine. Because what? United States is going to think about themselves. You think they're going to think about NATO and the EU when they make the deal? Nope. And that's why America's going to be caught right in the middle. Be caught right in the middle. Let's get the precept. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy. Let me zoom in real quick, Salakia. All the men of thy confederacy, NATO, European Union, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread and have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. So you understand? This is NATO, European Union. Some of these countries turning their back on America and doing their own thing. You understand? It's the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns. What's the 10 horns? The 10 common markets. The European Union. Which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And now we learning some more reasons why the European Union is going to hate America, which is the whore, right? Because America is all about themselves. They make deals, they go to war, right? They slimy, they deceiving. You can't trust them, right? So what the European NATO have to do? They have to protect themselves. They have to do for self, right? And who's the only really factor that's holding them back or deterring their goals or getting away what they trying to achieve? America, the big bad bully. You understand? You gotta You got to take the one with the biggest guns and the most money is gonna run the block. So you got to take down the person, the people, the gang with the biggest guns and the most money to be the top ruler, quote unquote, to be that top nigga, right? Now, let's see why France is tripping. Hold on. Let me share my other screen. So lock it. Go into my notes. Okay. France has been standing up to Russia because of its invasion of Ukraine. They're on the same page as NATO, and the European Union is helping Ukraine by sending them military aid, putting sanctions on Russia, and trying to talk to them. If there's a peace proposal for the US that France isn't going along with, there could be a few reasons for that. Here we go. France, like other European countries, think that any peace deal should respect Ukraine's borders and be in Ukraine's best interests, not dictated by bigger powers like the US and Russia. France must be worried if a peace deal between the US and Russia includes Russia getting to keep parts of Ukraine. They might think this could make Russia feel like they can get away with being aggressive, and that's not safe for Europe. France is pushing for a more robust and self-reliant European defense strategy rather than relying solely on US leadership, because you can't trust them. They might be hesitant to agree to an agreement that doesn't align with their own security interests. And that's one of the main reasons why. Lack of trust in Russia. Given past violations of agreements by Russia, France might doubt Moscow's commitment to any peace deal that does not come with strict security guarantees. France is part of a group of Western countries working together to make sure any solution is agreed upon by everyone, not just the US and Russia. See that? Because US and Russia is going to only worry about themselves, and they're going to leave the European countries out of it. Share my screen. Now, guess what? Let's see what Poland has to say about this.
We certainly are bracing for having to deter Putin. Putin has proved that when he threatens countries, he means it, and he threatens us. But we are in NATO. We have a first-class army, and Putin thought he would defeat Ukraine in 3 days, and he hasn't managed to do it in almost 3 years. And we would give him a good hiding too.
You would give him a good hiding? I mean, just tell us about what you're actually prepared for. I was told earlier today that there's howitzers, tanks, jets arriving every month from South Korea.
We just bought 96 Apaches, Abramses, JASSM, HIMARSes. I mean, talk to the defense ministry, but it's a long list.
Do you think Putin is ready to be humiliated and by pulling back?
He should be humiliated. Nobody gives up an empire because they're nice. Just like empires are not built by being nice. These are life and death struggles. We certainly are bracing for having to deter Putin. Putin has proved that when he threatens countries, he means it, and he threatens us. But we are in NATO. We have a first-class army, and Putin thought he would defeat Ukraine in 3 days.
So you see that? Poland talking big-ish. Let's get more. Europe will rearm faster than Russia. Wow. Polish PM Tusk. Europe is stronger than Russia and capable of winning in any military, financial, or economic confrontation. What Europe needed was to believe in its own strength. And now that belief is becoming a reality. Whoa, it's about to go down. All praises to the Most High, right? Prepare war. Let's see what Turkey got to say. Turkey ready to deploy troops to Ukraine if needed. It's going down. Turkey, NATO's second largest military power, may join a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine to ensure regional stability. The move, still conceptual, will follow a ceasefire and involve non-combat units to monitor peace, despite Moscow's rejection of NATO forces, though Trump believes Russia might agree. So NATO, if NATO enters in any type of Ukraine area, right, territory, the Russians, they're not dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? The Russians are not going to like that. You understand? So, and Putin has threat NATO. If you enter into Ukraine territory, I'm sending these missiles. I'm sending these nuclear bombs. Because that's an act of war. You know what I'm saying? You got to protect. You got to protect what's yours, man. You got to protect the schemes. Read it on. Turkey, balancing ties with both Kyiv and Moscow, has mediated past deals like the Black Sea Grain Export Agreement. So it's all about territory, it's all about resources, it's all about money and power and respect. That's all it's about, right? And that's why Esau is going to be destroyed, because his love of money, his love of power, his lust of just conquering, his lust of just bloodshed and destruction. You understand? All right. Let me get into why. Bring out more notes, more of my notes. I'm gonna bring out why Russia does not want NATO and Ukraine to expand and be partners with each other. Bear with me. NATO's expansion, especially with Ukraine, will shake things up for Russia, messing with its security, how it plays the game, and the ties with the West. Russia sees NATO expansion as a direct threat. They think the alliance has taken over their area of influence. If Ukraine joins NATO, it will put a Western military alliance right next to Russia's border, making them even more worried about their security. Russia might up its military game along its western border, sending more troops, missiles, and air defenses. This could lead to more clashes or a whole new arms race. Ukraine's NATO membership will be a major blow to Russia, right? Because of Article 5, as it will officially cut Ukraine's off from Russian influence and make it more closely tied to the West. NATO's Eastern Europe boost. Russia's borders will be more heavily guarded by NATO, with the alliance likely increasing its military presence in Poland, the Baltics, and maybe even Ukraine. Russia might get hit with more sanctions and lose friends with the West. To make up for it, they might team up with China, Iran, or other countries outside the West, and that's a fact. The B.R.I.C.S. That's a fact. That's a fact. Russia might not go straight for a military showdown. Instead, they could ramp up cyber attacks, right? That's what Macron said. in that speech, spread misinformation and squeeze NATO countries financially to weaken their bond. NATO's expansion to include Ukraine would likely escalate tensions between Russia and the West, boost military spending along NATO's eastern border, and force Russia to explore other political partnerships. You see, where I said it could escalate the tensions between Russia and the West, Russia and America, because Putin, you already know, he don't trust America. So he would think that America is behind NATO's expansion, right? But at the same time, trying to be a fake friend and set up peace agreements and ceasefire deals and security agreements. You understand? So he would think they playing both sides. You understand? Doing what's best for America, as always. So what's going down? Salakia. Salakia. All right. Let's get into this last article. There we go. Russia rejects temporary ceasefire in Ukraine. Calls it unacceptable. Moscow has flatly rejected proposals for a 1-month halt in fighting or a pause in aerial and naval attacks, dismissing calls from Zelensky and Macron. Russian Foreign Minister spokeswoman Maria made it clear Russia won't accept a respite without firm agreements on a final settlement. Sorry to tell you, Miss Maria, you're not going to get a firm agreement. You're not going to get a firm agreement. You're going to get deceiving words, broken agreements, lying statements, cunning craftiness, and a bunch of warmongers just lusting to use guns and bombs and missiles and tanks and grenades. So World War III is on the rise. World War III is on the rise. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. Again, and the 10 horns, the EU, the NATO, Turkey, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America. The 10 horns shall hate the whore. EU, NATO is going to hate America and make her desolate and naked. They will go to war and they will send bombs, and those bombs will hit. And it's going to burn with fire and brimstone like Sodom and Gomorrah. Last precept, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters. Who's the thou right here? This is America. How you know it's America? Because there's many waters. It's talking about how America has military bases, embassies, in over 80 countries throughout the world. They have over 700 military bases throughout the world. They dwell on many waters, and they have the largest navy. Reading on, abundant in treasures. Who has more wealth than America? Who has more GDP than America? Who's importing, exporting more goods and services and things than America? Thy end is come in the measure of thy covetousness, And we want to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh B.R.I.C.S Yahweh for that. The end is come. Esau time is almost over. And the time where Israel is being put back at its rightful state, when Yahweh comes back, put the Israelites on top, and we rule this world in peace and harmony and tranquility. There's going to be no more war, right? The people's going to rejoice. There's going to be no more mourning. And that's what we hope for. That's the patience of the saints, those who keep the commandments of the Lord and the faith in Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And with that, I want to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh B.R.I.C.S Yahweh Shah, family Yahweh B.R.I.C.S Yahweh Shah Barakatham, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.